what's happening? Cheesecake Nation. It is I, Super Church Funk.
And he unmasked me because this week it does not deserve my full undivided mask attention. So this week I'm doing it without the mask as a protest for Raw and SmackDown mostly. And issues of the pay-per-view, and we'll talk to it when we start off the pay-per-view, but
Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown, especially Raw. Those were hard to get through this week.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree. I had almost completely forgot about Clash of Champions. Like, they just did no effort in hyping this up.
Yeah, the only matches right off the bat that I was like, these could be cool, was Seth and Kevin, even though I'm not the biggest Kevin Owens guy. I'm not going to, go boo Kevin, but it's just not my guy. But I was definitely excited to see that match. The women's match just... I kind of want them to end Sasha and Charlotte.
Yeah.
It seemed it enough.
Yeah, move on to something else.
Yeah. Have Sasha have to work her way up, So I think it's about time they move Dana into a little feud with Charlotte, just for the sake of positioning Charlotte even stronger, and then having Charlotte kind of align with Stephanie and be, Stephanie's girl, effectively.
Yeah, so taking all this stuff about Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, and then she puts her attention on Charlotte, so I can dig that. But starting off with Raw's first main pay-per-view since the split, Clash of Champions.
Yeah, did you watch the pre-show, man?
No, I did not.
Neither did I. I honestly did
Nia
not
Jax
care.
versus Alicia Fox. We all know what was going to happen.
Yeah, Nia wins. I heard it was actually not a very
Squashy.
bad match. Yeah, it wasn't as squashy as you would think.
Yeah.
Alicia got in some good offense. Nia did a little bit of selling, but all in all, it's still pretty one-sided.
Yeah. So starting off the match, which was kind of surprising to me, which was New Day versus Gallows and Anderson.
I liked the first 75% of the match.
Yeah, it was a damn good match all around, aside of that how it ended.
Yeah, alright. So, because of how bad it is, I'm not even going to give them the full respect they deserve for that tag team match. This is the second pay-per-view in a row where the New Day cheated to retain.
Yeah, it's...
Because remember at SummerSlam, Big E ran down, got him disqualified. Then they had, it's...
Alright, do you think that they are going to... obviously, their original plan was to have them be the longest reigning tag team champions, but since so many people called them out about Demolition, and now that they know that they can't hide the fact that they had a title
They'd have to go another 3 months.
Exactly. Do you really think they're gonna... If that's what they're trying to do? I really think...
They have a lot of support with the Filthy Casuals, so I don't think they're gonna burn out. I think it depends on where they're going for some of their major ones. Like, I haven't looked at the schedule to see where pay-per-views are.
Yeah.
But it's going to be kind of hard going into, a more smarky town, especially in a couple months or whatever. I don't know. I like Xavier. That's pretty much the nicest thing I could say about them. And then on Raw, Kofi getting some color and continuing the match. So respect for him, but honestly, I'm just sick of the New Day.
Yeah, I love the New Day. They are arguably my favorite tag team. They need to lose. I'm sorry. They need to lose. They need to pass it over to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because it's just getting old, and we need to see some new stuff.
The club is dead to me now. You might as well just split them up. You can't rehab just consistently losing.
And have them be the new big, hey, let's beat up everybody tag team like they claim to be.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
So I assume if anybody's going to take the belts off of them, it's Big Cass and Enzo. But I feel like they've got to get the monkey off their back of the Shining Stars first, so I assume that's going to buy some time for the New Day.
Well, we'll talk a little more about the tag team stage once we get to Raw.
That finish it set the stage for pretty much everything.
Left a very bad taste on a lot of people's mouths because it was such a good match.
Yeah, and it pretty much after that I had a hard time really enjoying a lot of the rest of the stuff for the pay-per-view, but let's continue on.
Alright, other good match. TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, fuck all the fans. Again, the filthy casuals. They're like, I don't know who these people are. Well, how about instead of spending fucking whatever it is to go and see the show live, you spend $10 on the network and watch the Cruiserweight Classic?
Yeah, like fucking
goddamn filthy
real
casuals.
wrestling fan. I'm a fairly casual fan, you know, like I'm always on the network. I'm always watching the shit that they got, you know. Fucking TJ Perkins, that entrance.
Yeah, the Mega Man.
Fucking like the minute you said it's that one Mega Man theme everybody likes. I'm like, Dr. Wily's Castle from Mega Man 2. He's like, yeah, that one. And you can immediately hear like the I'm like, oh, the whole like selecting character. Nerding out so hard for that, but
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really good match. The crowd was just dead for it.
Yeah.
Which, fuck you to them anyways, because, you know, don't be a dick. But I guess part of me can't blame them. The main roster did such a shit job with them. They're just kind of like, they didn't show him at all. The champion was never shown on Raw before his first title match.
No.
So just like this guy with his brand new belt, which is purple. Good luck. And Brian Kendrick, who I like a lot, but he's
Showing his age.
No, I wouldn't say that. Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that. He's not exactly mainstream. You know, he doesn't have that. Like, he's so different.
I gotcha.
That I could see a lot of, again, the goddamn filthy casuals that ruin everything. Being like, I don't get it. Who's the scruffy homeless guy and why is he wrestling that boy? So, yeah. The crowd kind of ruined this match for me, but I thought it was pretty good. The only pop they really got was for Brian Kendrick headbutting him at the end. It was just kind of like that douchebag, smarky, one more time. Like, how about one more time you jump off a fucking bridge? Assholes.
Alright, so next up we had Sheamus and Cesaro in their last match in their best out of 7. I'd say this is probably the best match that they had.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid match, minus,
again, the ending. But at the same time, no.
There's a couple of scary spots. We'll get to the most obvious one, but there's one before that. I'm trying to think what you would exactly call it. It was kind of a razor's edge onto Sheamus's knee.
Yeah. Except that it didn't hit his knee, slid off his leg, and he looked like he killed himself.
I think you're talking about the suicide dive.
Oh, wait.
I'm talking about when he went for the razor's edge powerbomb, but he like dropped on his knee.
Oh, right.
That looked like that hurt.
Yeah.
But yes, alright, so the infamous spot of the match, I'm sure if you haven't seen it by now somehow, you can just Google it and I'm sure you'll find it right away. So I've seen a lot of people trying to figure out what exactly went wrong. I think what it came down to was Cesaro jumped out with way too much steam. And he tried to like, I think he was trying to cannonball. And he hit Sheamus so hard, he like threw Sheamus out of the picture and he hit the barricade. And effectively, Cesaro just kind of slid down Sheamus' legs and landed right on the side of his neck.
Oof.
Yeah, so that was dangerous.
Taking some fucking plays from Sasha and Big E's handbook.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this was a pretty decent match up until the ending where they just were like, No, they can't.
All right,
they
so we
can't
got to talk
continue.
about the one,
Can't do
the
it.
one elephant in the room spot, the 619, the attempted 619. Wasn't that good.
Yeah, it was.
You
different.
tried.
I mean, the fact that he did it was interesting enough, but yeah, I wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Whew.
He's too tall, or something like that.
Yeah, he like was barely able to get. He's just like, eh.
Yeah, you can tell like he didn't practice it very much.
So, all right. So the match ends with a double ref stoppage DQ no winner after 7 matches. It's time to give you the old flying double fucks. It's like, oh, way to book yourself into the part where everybody goes, thank you for wasting my month. I will totally want to watch Raw over the debate after just having somebody piss into my mouth. And be like, haha, doesn't it taste good? Lemonade for you.
But we'll have more to talk about that on Raw, which is something very interesting. Because if you watched last week's show, our show last week, you'll know that my co-host over here called a certain thing that will happen later on. But we'll get to that. So next up is another little filler match with Jericho versus Sami Zayn.
Pretty good match.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just
Better
wasn't super for the feud, but I mean, it was just
Yeah.
you're gonna have 2 guys and be like, hey, throw out a match, kind of get the crowd back into it.
Yeah,
I don't
this
think it
being
really
the
got the
piss break.
crowd super into it, but it was a pretty fun little match.
Yeah, for this being the obvious piss break match, it was right in the middle. This was really good, Fucking, I love Jericho. Like, he's just such an amazing heel. Like,
So what are your thoughts on Zayn? Because
they need to make him stop fucking losing. They need to give him something. Like, people love him. He's over as fuck. Like, he's gonna win. He's gonna win at something. Give him something to do and make him win. Like, I don't care what it is. I do not care what it is. I'm not the biggest Sami Zayn fan. I don't know if I'd buy the guy's t-shirt, but the guy, great talent. People love him. He's just give him shit to do. Like, what was the point of all that shit with Kevin Owens, making him go over Kevin Owens if you're going to give the title to Kevin Owens?
Well, I don't think they were putting it on Kevin Owens at the time.
Well,
Either
either way.
to the underwear model, kind of.
Either way, but anyway, good match. Jericho ends up going over Sami Zayn. I mean, like,
Do you have any issue with that? I've kind of heard a lot of people have issue with it.
I don't know.
In my opinion, right now, if I had buy or sell, I could only have one of them. I'd take Jericho over Zayn, so I have no issue with him. I think he's the more valuable guy right now. That's the story you're telling.
Yeah, I mean,
I got a feeling,
especially with all the stuff, him being with Kevin Owens and them kind of creating a stable, I feel like that is kind of something you want to do.
yeah, I think it kind of opens up for like a fatal 4-way with these 2 gentlemen and then the 2 from the main event. So I think, I'm alright with that feud kind of continuing. I think Jericho is kind of the guy right now.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Next up is the women's match.
alright.
Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley.
I generally try to defend Dana because I think she gets a lot of unfair heat. But there's no DQ in a triple threat. Why did Dana keep leaving the ring? Like, Dana could have literally came in there, like, wait 5 minutes, then jump in the ring, and then just, like, beat down one of them, lay across Charlotte every time she goes for a pin to double pin people. Like, Dana was just kind of made to look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting sick of that. Like, I feel like she can do so much more than that. Like, she's just playing a stooge right now, and
yeah. I don't know. There were parts that I really liked in this match, but just watching Dana on the outside where I'm like, she could interfere. There's no disqualification. It hurt the match.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I just had a hard time watching this one. Like, I just... Oh, and people were giving Sasha shit for, like, when she was doing the slappy thing. Doing the fucking Luigi deal from Super Smash Brothers. Sami Zayn did the exact same fucking thing.
Alright, let's be fair. Sami Zayn's not exactly the paragon of manliness.
Yeah, I know, but still.
He's only in the men's division because he has a beard. Just kidding, Sammy. I don't know. For all I know, you are the paragon of manliness.
Well,
And you're just like, shave your beard and like another beard is underneath it. I don't know. I don't know your life story. So, yeah, like I said, that was my issue with the match.
Yeah. It wasn't a terrible match, but it definitely was not the greatest match ever, so...
No really crazy, super ridiculous spots either, which was nice to see.
Oh, yeah, for once, Sasha not trying to kill herself.
Yeah.
Cesaro completely stole that essence.
Yeah, because I was almost getting to the point where I just viewed Sasha as a spot monkey. And I thought, you know, Broken Man was going to have to fix her.
So yeah, Charlotte ends up picking up the victory and retaining the title.
I'm going to ask, I'm kind of bringing this up a little bit. In your opinion, right now, who is the best woman on Raw?
Oh, Charlotte. Absolutely.
I think she's so far, like, I get people like Sasha, and I definitely see the people that like Bayley. Then you have Dana, Alicia, you have Nia, you have Summer Rae, who has not appeared since the brand draft. I don't know if they're just going to release her. I have no idea what they're doing.
Her page is going to be out even more. She's like a couple more months or whatever they said they were going to.
She's like falling apart like some old car. They're going to make her fucking get that fucking Alberto tattoo removed from under her boob.
She needs to give her a break. Working her too hard.
Alberto, goddamn.
Save some for the rest of us, buddy. Jesus Christ.
When was the last time she was on TV? She was anytime.
That was a couple months ago.
It's gotta be more than a couple months. I think it's
At least 4, maybe.
maybe. I'm literally trying to remember the last time I saw Paige on TV. I think it was just like a random match where she beat Charlotte and then they just didn't do anything with it. So like you kind of have that to fall back on, but it's like it's been so.
Yeah, just the fact, like exactly, like when she brought back, I thought she was gonna be like the mainstay because she was like the top girl at the time. But it's just like it's kind of hard to do that now with so many new top girls coming in.
I was really surprised when they did the draft and she wasn't a SmackDown girl. So I figured when you split them, you'd want Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Paige as like your 4 most polished girls all around. So you would have figured you'd want to split them 2 and 2, but Becky's really just, she's the only kind of super polished girl on SmackDown. Like you could make the argument for Nikki, and we can have that argument if somebody wants to have that argument.
Alrighty, moving right along. Roman Reigns versus Rusev for the United States Championship.
I had very mixed feelings about this. I enjoy Rusev. And I have a disdain for Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns hurts the most basic part of wrestling to me, which is he'll sell something until he makes his comeback, and then he sells it no longer. You're like, oh, I think he's got broken ribs there, Maggle.
Oh my God, a spear!
Yeah, spear.
Yeah.
He'll just be like sprinting around the ring, not selling like he's out of breath.
Like he
because
just
his ribs
randomly
are
got,
broken.
yeah, he just randomly got his second wind. Like just out of nowhere, and it's, I mean, he's slightly getting better, but he's not getting better fast enough.
I think he's plateaued. I don't see him getting any better. I think maybe on promos, but I don't see the charisma that everybody's telling me. Like, oh, he's got great charisma. I'm like, I think you're just confused that he's a good-looking guy. Like, I don't see the charisma at all.
Yeah, like
even in ring, I don't see this great charisma that everybody's talking about. Like, I don't think he's a bad wrestler, but
no.
He does a lot.
He's a good wrestler. He just has a terrible character.
And
they just refuse to change anything about it.
I think if he was booked more to be a human being, you could probably get him over as a face. So I'm going to tell you a secret of wrestling. Monster faces generally don't work. There's exceptions. There's always exceptions. But more times than not, the monster face will not work. Especially when you bring them in as a monster face, but they're also a good-looking guy. Talk to Lex Luger. Ask him how it worked for him. He had a bus. Roman doesn't even have a bus.
What chance does he have?
Yeah. It's like, oh, what's your gimmick? Oh, I'm just good looking and I am booked to just be perfect, effectively. Like, oh, that sounds like quite a heel character. Oh no, they're building me to be the new John Cena. Oh. Ooh, I can definitely see why you're having issues. Oh, I can't. So I'm not going to adjust my character.
And now that people are starting to hear the "Let's Go Roman sucks," I think he's gonna just go. He's like, well, people are cheering for me now. So
I wouldn't be surprised if they're pumping some of it in. It was a thing with Cena for a while before he started doing the U.S. title opens and really working to put on really good matches. They were pumping in "Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks" chants to try to get him over. I wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely moving merchandise, but at the same time, you look at anybody.
Not as nearly as much as like some of these other guys.
Well, I mean, he's got 100 pieces of merchandise for most guys. One. It's like, oh, like, would you like a watch or a fucking swatch or some gloves or a belt or a fucking do-rag or a fucking fake foam vest or like a fucking pointy finger hand or like 7 different.
They were giving those out for free. Remember when I got my shirts last year for the Mania? I thought when I got it, I honestly thought it was a Undertaker one. Yeah. And I got a closer look at it. I'm like, oh, it's Roman Reigns. Yeah. I think the person behind the counter could like feel my disdain. But anyway. Yeah, Roman Reigns ends up going over Rusev, and
I'm okay if they're going to give Rusev some love somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I hope so. They've been treating him pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely been the best mid-card champion in quite a while.
Yep.
I would put him right up with Cena's weekly Cena show he was doing for a while.
Alright, so moving along to Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship.
This felt a little too heavy-handed booked.
Yeah.
I feel like they were kind of getting the impression that a lot of the filthy casuals didn't know that Seth was a good guy. So they kind of went above and beyond to try to prove Seth is a good guy in the match. Kevin did his usual Kevin stuff, and that's good, and I definitely see there's a lot of people that really like it. Seth is definitely, the crowd was confused on Seth.
Yeah.
The crowd felt very much like they were watching heel, and they had no idea really what to do.
Yeah.
So, there was definitely a strong Seth contingent, there was definitely a strong Owens, but the vast majority of people were just kind of like, who do I cheer? Just kind of sitting around waiting for Triple H to come out and do something, and it just never really
that was the one thing
materialized.
I mean, we had Jericho come out, which kind of replaced Triple H in everybody's minds. It's because everyone thought for sure that's what was going to happen, including ourselves. But Jericho was the one who ended up interfering and costing Seth the match. And so we're good. We got to get Triple H at some point.
Yeah, I assume they're just trying to stretch out I think he wants closer to Mania. So I wouldn't be surprised if you get a Team Raw versus Team SmackDown and Seth is eliminated by Triple H and you get Stephanie yelling at Triple H and they're fighting and it's like, oh, what are we going to do? And Triple H is like, no, I'm not going to fight you. Like, I'm retired, blah, blah, blah. Like, he won't fight him, and then eventually by Mania, Seth will have completed his face turn and who knows.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of different theories as to how you get Triple H into the match. Whether it's Seth hitting on Stephanie, which is a little cringy.
Yeah, too.
Like, Stephanie's a very attractive woman, but she's also a mom and his boss and...
Married to Triple H.
Yeah. It'd be a little weird. Well, I mean, like, that's why you get the... He's like, hey, Stephanie. Suck it, Triple H. What do you think of everybody doing the suck it chants during the match? Owens did one and then immediately broke his ass. And then Seth did one.
Yeah, I saw that. Was pretty funny.
So, yeah, some pretty good spots. Again, the finish. It seems like WWE is like forgot to leave the crowd happy. Like, I get it, you wanted Owens to stay over, but like something other than immediately roll in pin. Like, what were the happy moments at the end of a match that entire night? Because you had Nia win, who's, granted, I'll assume the crowd was more into her than Alicia. Just an assumption, not based on anything. Then you had the New Day cheat to win, which I heard a lot of people be like, oh, the crowd really liked it. But when I listened to it, it sounded like they were booing pretty hard.
Yeah, I definitely... I didn't hear a lot of cheering. I heard a very mixed reaction. Yeah. Obviously, the people who love the New Day, like...
What faces won?
New Day, TJ, Roman.
So, really mixed face in Roman. New Day had a pretty mixed thing because they cheated to win, and the crowd didn't know who fucking TJ was. So, yeah, I could definitely see why the crowd was getting kind of dead towards the end. Alright, guys, let's take a quick break for the cause and move on to Raw.
Alright.
Welcome back, you mealy mouse sons of bitches.
So, first out of the gates, gotta say this. No opening promos, no people, no Mick Foley stuff.
So Rusev didn't get an entrance.
Rusev, yeah. Like, immediately started the match, which was cool. Rusev got a jobber entrance.
Yeah.
What was with that? Like, that was... What?
I would have been alright with it if you started out with a very quick Rusev promo. Where he's just like, I demand a match, I demand a match, and he's just like, rah, 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 rah. And then he's like trying to like grab like cameramen and screaming at Eve, or not Eve, Eden, that's her name.
Yeah.
He's like,
demanding his rematch.
Match, rah, 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 watch, break somebody, and then he just like puts his hands on like a Spanish commentator or something, and Steph's like, you have your match. And then Roman just comes out and he's like, you can have it right now. And then, you know, Roman gets to look cool. They both go in, beat the shit out of each other like they did. I liked everything up until the very end of this match.
Yeah, and,
where, like, Rusev turned into, like, Boris. And he's just like, he literally, this is how he walked into the final spear. He's like, like, it was like the longest pause of just looking goofy with his arms up and out to his side to take the spear. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the spear as a finish to begin with. Like, I like it as a setup to something. Just because it's one of those moves. It's the same issue I had with Bailey to Belly. Ooh, excuse me, guys. It just doesn't feel like it knocks you out.
Yeah, especially because we see it all the time with other wrestlers. Like, that's Big E's whole wearing you down things. He just does a shit ton of belly to bellies. Yeah. That's supposed to be Bailey's finisher. You know, like, just doesn't.
I'm alright with it, but you can't sell it like it's a knockout.
Right, exactly.
Like, when Roman hits one spear out of nowhere, it just doesn't feel like that's a knockout.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it knocks the wind at him, so you can set him up for a big thing, you know, like whatever. But it's just.
It was a Razor's Edge. He was hitting it for a while there. Like, that's a strong fucking finish. You didn't have to change the name. He's got like the razor blade kind of look with his logo. Razor's Edge. It's a good finish. You know? Or if you want to go with something else, go with something else.
Called
but-
the Roman's Edge, just as a little...
Yeah. I don't think you need to change it. Granted, I know Shamo was using it for a while as the Celtic High Cross. But Razor's Edge, or he was even doing like a Razor's Edge pop-up catch and like into a sit-out powerbomb. Like, that's a good shit too.
But yeah, this
It just doesn't feel like a spear as a knockout. That was my one issue, when you can't just kind of come back with one move. And that's kind of like, it works for Cena, kind of, because the AA, it looks like if somebody hits you with that, you might actually be out. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a weak finish. Like, well, you'd have somebody pick you up on their shoulders and throw you just like head first at the ground. Granted, you're a wrestler, so you take a back bump and everything, but it's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, like, and the ending this match, just... We saw this last week. Like, we saw this last week with Rusev and Seth, them getting the double count out. Like, it just... Why? And why would Rusev want to just walk away from a title match? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm talking about, when I was talking about the really shitty one, that was from the interview.
Yeah.
But yeah, on Raw, like, I had both matches just kind of fused together in my mind. Yeah, I'm alright with it because it kind of fits Rusev's character, where he's just an ass kicker. He's not, I don't want to call him dumb, but he's not a rules kind of guy. Like, he's kind of got that Sheamus mentality where I don't really have an issue with them doing something stupid, because it's kind of in their character. You know, they just want to fight. Like, he'll take you out of the ring and a brawl with you for a while. Alright. Here's a good little thing. You know where my pick is going, guys. Because he's my guy. But who would you say is the better manager right now? Maurice or Lana?
Oof.
Or as Maggle Cole calls her, Maurice?
I don't know. I mean, Lana doesn't really do much.
It is the point.
She just stands out there, just looking sternly. Maurice, she's been...
I think
she does stuff in almost
Lana has
every...
better facials. Like, you can kind of see it. Like, when she thinks Rusev is winning, she's got a big, bright smile, and she gets mad when people hurt Rusev.
But it doesn't...
she doesn't have...
Maurice is much more animated.
Yeah, and now she's got her spray gimmick.
And she just... I mean, she's always kind of, like, done stuff for The Miz, but she's just more...
Yeah, I think Lana having... I think Rusev needs a gimmick weapon. I think a chain could do a lot for him.
Or go back to using that medal that he had. Just to, like, show
He's
people
not
or
a
something.
member of the Russian Federation anymore.
Oh, that's right.
So I think, like, you get a nice... It doesn't have to be a big, super thick fucking gangster chain, but just a normal chain. And Lana pulls it out of her cleavage or wherever she would keep a chain, and she slides it into Rusev, wraps it around the fist, and, you know, that's a good fucking gimmick weapon. It looks like a brutal weapon. He's a big, brutal dude. He can choke people out with it. Use it with the Accolade, stuff like that. Good shit.
Alright, so moving along, we had Cesaro and Sheamus and Mick come out, and they were talking about, you know, their match that they had, and you, my friend, called it.
I did.
You absolutely fucking called it, that they would make a tag team out of these guys.
I know Vince McMahon. He's like, you know what's funny? The odd couple. Let's have these two guys that don't like each other. They're a tag team. And they'll be a successful tag team. I don't think they're going to take the titles, but I'm guessing like 3 months. I know I just 3 months. And then they're going to break up a feud again. But I'm guessing they're going to kind of play off of like what Miz and Mizdow were doing. Where it's going to be, but a lot more mean, kind of. I got a feeling you're going to see a couple more weeks of squashes, and then they'll destroy the Shining Stars.
Yeah. Alright, so the next match was New Day versus Gallows and Anderson for the rematch. what did you think about this compared to the match that was actually on the pay-per-view?
What did Kofi get the color on? I kind of was like looking for it. I couldn't really figure out
Yeah,
exactly
that's what I was having trouble. I couldn't figure out where he got hit.
He was bleeding pretty good by the end of it. Because I'm sure some asshole out there's going to be like, we're a racist asshole. But like, because, you know, he's a black dude, so it's kind of hard to see blood on him. So at first I was like, what the hell is that? Then, like, by the end of the match, I was like, damn, he is busted way open. I'm surprised they didn't do the black and white and all the fucking stupid games and shit they do to try to cover it up. He was playing pretty good by the end, and so I gotta give him a lot of props for that, just for finishing the match. But
Yeah.
honestly, if my expression of didn't tell you my thoughts on it, that's... Alright, I gotta be fair, because we're talking about Raw. I watched the debate, and I recorded Raw, and then I was like, I'm not really sleepy. I'll just power through Raw before I go to bed. So I was just kind of fast forwarding through all the commercials, and some of these matches, it was pretty goddamn hard. It was a test of willpower not to just fast forward through the matches.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell WWE was like, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of viewers with that debate. But apparently they did pretty good. But, yeah.
So yeah, New Day ends up picking up the win. Seriously, gotta give Gallows and Anderson some fucking winnings.
Put them out to pasture.
Gotta do something with them, or else, yeah, just let them do.
Biscuits and gravy!
Alright, so next up was a Bailey squash match versus Anna Fields.
I couldn't tell if I thought Anna was cute or not. It's like from angles.
Yeah.
Very odd ring attire though. It kind of reminded me of like early Stephanie McMahon when she just wears like standard sporting equipment and she's like, wrestling gear. But yeah, well, whatever. It was kind of weird for a non-monster character to have a squash match. I mean, I guess Bo was kind of doing it, but it's weird. It was weird.
Alright, so next up was the Cruiserweight tag match with Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak and Lince Dorado. Not too bad.
Good match. You know,
It was
I like
fun.
Little Rufus and yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Because I know you like Drew Gulak, I like Lince. I mean, Rich Swann and Cedric
Also
are always
very
good. They're all fucking good.
Yeah, but
Who
it's
we
just-
kidding?
I've seen them more. I haven't really seen that much of
Cedric's been getting a lot of matches lately.
well, the please sign Cedric thing. I'm
Well,
sure WWE's
yeah.
like, see, if people like him, put him out there. And then it's like, these people don't know who he is. Told you cruiserweights would fail. And it's like,
I think he's had like, what, 4 matches so far? 3 or 4? But, yeah, good showing. These guys are always a treat to watch. Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander pick up the win here. And then we had TJ Perkins versus Tony Nese. Again, not a bad match at all.
I feel like I must have just completely been like done in my head at this point. I don't remember this match at all.
No,
I feel like I would have really enjoyed this match, but it's just
It was a good match, man. Like, I wish I took down more notes, like some of the shit that happened. But hey, it's CWC. It's not bad.
yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah, like
TJ Perkins.
I must have just like just been done mentally. I was like, just done. Just mentally, just like deficient, not even there anymore. Just
All right, so the final bit was we had the highlight reel with Jericho and Kevin Owens being interrupted by Enzo and Cass, which went into a tag match.
well, Seth came out first, right?
Did he?
I thought Seth was there, but then Enzo and Cass came out. Or Seth might have just been in like the.
Oh. Bless you, sugar. Alright.
Did you get into the pepper? I don't know. Maybe it was just Seth.
I think they were pushing Seth out.
Yeah.
I think they had like a bunch of guys and they're trying to push Seth out, and then Enzo and Cass came.
Yeah, I just remember something like that. Yeah, I think that's what happened because it just kind of confused me.
I think everybody else was like waiting for Shining Stars to also come out, and then
They didn't.
they didn't. So
They were busy with Puerto Rican stuff. That's not racist because that's their actual gimmick.
all right. Again, this match was all right. You know.
That's kind of the story of the first 3 nights of this week. Just all right. Nothing special.
All right, and I think we can go into SmackDown here because there's really not a whole lot going on. Really, there was only like 3 matches.
Yeah, they're kind of biding time.
All right, so first thing to really talk about was all the Randy and Bray bullshit thingies. Those were kind of tedious and just not very good. I'm sorry.
Why? Why, God? These were painful.
Yeah, they were pretty
Sure.
cringy. And
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting a boy Wyatt. Yeah. And then like all the super hokey camera angles where it's like
and that oh my god, dude, fucking Kevin Dunn or somebody fucked up at that last bit.
yeah.
Like that was like,
And they're like, oh, it's corrupted. You want to reshoot it? Yeah, fuck it. It's only SmackDown.
oh my god, like that was just. All right, we're done talking about that. So first match. Heath and Rhino versus the Ascension and the Usos.
Alright, so the first thing to talk about is the order of entrances. So we show up on TV and they're playing Heathy Boy and Rhino's music, which is really just Heath's.
Yeah.
And the Ascension's across the ring.
They're already there, you know. And then we come back from break, and then
The Usos are coming out. So it's like, so effectively what they must have done is either heel team, face team, heel team, or possibly face team, heel team, heel team.
either way, it makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, but
How do you like the Usos' new music?
it's cool.
I don't think it's as catchy or as
They're heels, so I'm fine with it.
music as they're.
I liked the look this week a lot more than what they've been wearing too.
Yeah, a lot more uniform.
Yeah. Where it's like a lot less of like, oh, they look cool, I want to be like that. Now it's just kind of like, oh, they're just kind of 2 dudes, but like they're heels. I'm wondering if the Tequila Sunrise is going to be their new finish, because I've been saying that the Splash is not a heel finish. So Tequila Sunrise with chop blocks and all that kind of stuff, good shit. Really liking them. The Ascension definitely looked a lot stronger this week. It was American Alpha with the other team in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they looked good. Rhino and Heath. When they don't have the vignettes, it's kind of showing in there. Their wrestling ability is not going to be able to get it done.
No.
Effectively, like Rhino is. He was showing his age a while ago. Now he's just kind of like, oh, look at me, I can hang with the young guys. Like, it feels like that guy who hangs out with, like, the old drunk at the bar, but the old drunk's like, I'm the toughest guy here. And it's like, dude, you're like 60-something. Like, you take a break. Like, it's cool. I don't think Rhino's going to be around that much longer, though, so
No.
I imagine he's dropping those tag belts to the Usos at No Mercy.
Right.
So, that's pretty much all there really was to say about this match.
Yeah, Uso and the Ascension pick up the win.
Tequila Sunrise. Good shit.
Alright, next up, women's match, which was supposed to be last week, but they didn't do anything.
The women.
So it was Naomi and Nikki versus Natty and Carmella.
Kind of a little bit of nothing, but
Yeah.
they continue the Nikki Carmella feud. So I assume we're going to get that at No Mercy. Carmella again comes out on top of it, which is kind of surprising because WWE has been known to pop their cork. Dated reference. Dr. Evilfinger. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting to see.
Come to attention.
Alright, so...
Prematurely erupt.
Okay, got any more that you want
I'm good.
to... You sure?
Spontaneously ejaculate.
That wasn't so much of... It was just like a...
Not a pun. Alright, so yeah, let's
Right, so
continue
next
on.
up we had, which was pretty awesome, promo between, or I thought it was good, between Miz and Dolph, which will hopefully be their final. I say hopefully just because.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different rumors. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Dolph's leaving." I'm like, I don't know. I mean, maybe to have Dolph take some time off and then like come back as something else.
If they're gonna do, I mean, Miz even called him out on that. Like, you know, he was very specific. He's like, "No, you're not going. You're not just going to Raw. You're not gonna take some time off and come back. You're done."
Yeah.
Which is what they usually do in these kind of things, you know. So
Yeah,
it was,
but Ric Flair said the same thing. They went to TNA.
yeah, but it's not the same company, so
Yeah.
the records won't show that.
Yeah, WWE are like, "Oh, you wrestled in Florida? That doesn't count."
Some charity work in Florida. You know. So who knows what's going to happen? I can only assume that they got to give it to Dolph.
Yeah, I mean, unless... So I know Dolph's been looking at a lot of other stuff. Maybe he's just, you know, he's like,
But or again, who
you're
knows?
not doing anything with me, I'm done. Because I know his contract's coming to an end here pretty soon.
Yeah, so maybe he is going to leave. Who knows?
He's been doing a lot of political stuff for Fox News. He's doing the stand-up comedy. Been trying to do some acting. A lot of people forget he's a Hall of Fame wrestler. Like, not WWE, but Kent State. Like, he get a lot of money going to Kent State and being a coach or a coach assistant. He'll be fine.
Who knows what's
Plus,
going
I'm
on?
sure
But
there's, if you wanted to, I'm sure a Ring of Honor or New Japan would
Someone would
fucking
pick him up.
salivate to pick him up.
yeah, so again, this could be anything. So which is, I mean, if you pay attention to this kind of stuff and you know that maybe Dolph could leave, that just makes the match just all that more interesting. So definitely looking forward to that. And that was a good promo. Like Miz, in his hometown, saying his parents were there, and then spoofing on Dolph's parents, who he himself is also a native to that city. So that was pretty fun. And you could see the emotion in Dolph, like he was about to cry.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dolph's last thing is putting over his buddy Miz. You know?
Again, you never know. That could very well be the plan, or maybe they are just going to put the belt on Dolph and maybe do a heel turn or change of character. Who knows what their plan is, but
I can't
it should
imagine
be something.
they would want to do a story that big just for that little of a payoff.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a feeling Dolph he's taking some time off. I don't think he's gone forever. I'm telling you, by Royal Rumble he'll be back. And like, what's the worst? Miz can bitch about it. Miz can bitch about everything else. Who gives a shit?
Alrighty. So last thing on SmackDown was AJ versus Dean.
Actually, I got one before we fly through. What were your thoughts on Miz again cheating, Dolph being like, I just don't want to retire, and him becoming the new apprentice for Miz, and that's where his heel turn comes from? Because Miz will kind of sell him on like, I trained Alex Riley, who's gone, but whatever. But he's also got Daniel Bryan, who he claims he taught everything he knew because he was Daniel Bryan's NXT All-Star or whatever.
Yeah.
call them. You know, you can be like, oh, I did all this work for Mizdow. It was also, you know, so maybe that's the plan. I don't know. All right, so let's go.
So yeah, AJ versus Dean for the championship with John Cena on commentary.
So, yeah, Cena doesn't know the rules of the matches. I don't know. I'm a Dean hater. It's been well documented. Cena is like, you ever try to clean your ear out with like a Q-tip, and you go a little too deep? That's Cena commentary to me. I'm just like, stop talking. And AJ was just kind of there, and so fucking Clavarella tried to interfere, like didn't quite work, then tried to interfere again, and it helped AJ win. So, cool, I guess. It was weird that AJ couldn't reverse at AA when every other time he's ever been put in the AA, he flips through it. Well, whatever, you know, Cena gets his night to be the shining star and, you know, really take the shine from them young guns.
So yeah, No Mercy is going to be interesting. Right now, I think the match I'm looking forward to the most is Miz and Dolph, by far. I mean, women's match will probably be good. Yeah, we didn't really talk about Becky came down and then Alexa Bliss.
Alright, so yeah, Becky was going to have a match with nobody because there's only 6 women. And the other 4 had already wrestled, so yeah, she went to have a match with no one. Or possibly, in an intergender match, she was going to wrestle the Milkman, and because she was unable to compete, second victory for the Milkman. Milkman for life.
Alright, that's going to do it for SmackDown, so we'll come back and talk about NXT. Alright, NXT. First,
Doodly ho, subscriberinos.
First thing, you want to take it away?
Alright, so we kind of got a pre-NXT announcement. In order to remember the dream, Dusty Rhodes, they're going to do a second Dusty Rhodes Classic, baby. So, I'm definitely digging it. I loved what they did with the first one. I liked what they did with the Cruiserweight Classic, so I'm super down for it. Now, hopefully we can get a women's one, and we'll be kind of good on these kind of things a year. 3 of them, perfect. So, as Sir William Regal put it out to us, we would hear a couple of the teams throughout the night, and then on social media he announced a couple of them, but we'll get there when we get there, baby. Jack, what was our first event?
Alright, Ty Dillinger versus Angelo Dawkins.
Shit stick. Yeah, that's the name, because it looks like he's stirring shit. He's a shit stirrer, if you will. But he needs a stick to do it, so he is the shit stick. So shit stick loses, because obviously his name's Shit Stick.
Yeah, this was...
It was an alright match.
Yeah, it was okay.
Neither one is really my
cup of tea. Cup of grog.
Yeah, neither one of these guys are my biscuits and gravy.
Alright, so Tyler Dillinger's going back, and then who would come out? Who would come out with the glorious one himself, Bobby Roode. And basically, he asked the Perfect 10 to be his tag team partner.
The Dusty Rhodes tag team of Perfectly Glorious, baby. Or Gloriously Perfect. However you want it, Jack.
And Ty Dillinger shook his hand, so I guess we're going to have that team to go with, so that could be fun.
And it should be pointed out, 2 Canadian boys, and the finals are going to be in Canada. So, yeah. Looking like they might be looking at the top spot, but I'm kind of I'm kind of gonna go against the grain on this one. I got a feeling Bobby Roode is going to tag in Ty Dillinger on something where he wasn't ready. Ty's going to eat a pin on some sort of team finisher. Bobby's going to blame him, and he's going to assault him after the match, which leads to something for TakeOver as a one-on-one match.
Yeah, there you go. That sounds good.
Just saying. Just saying, baby.
So next up, we had
We know.
a no contest between the Revival and these two guys, Gabriel and Uriel.
Ariel.
Urinal cake.
Yeah, so...
Samoa Joe just comes down and completely shit stomps the twins.
he avoided my boys, though. Cut right between the two of them. So, yeah, the Revival, they're like, yeah, fuck that. So, yeah, Samoa Joe beats up the two brothers. I think they were the Elling brothers, something like that. Yeah, whatever. So he's like, they're now injured, despite the fact he didn't really do anything too special.
Just sent on them a bunch of times.
Yeah. So he blames it on William Regal not either giving Joe the title or a match with Nakamura immediately, and says he's going to do it again and again and again until William Regal fucking gives him what he wants, which is either the match with Nakamura, who is injured by Joe's own hands, or the forfeiture of the title and it being returned to Mr. Joseph.
Samoan Joseph.
Yeah. Well, I see his first name Samoa and his last name Joe.
Alright, so we had a women's match. Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon. And you had a little bit of change of heart here when it comes to Mandy.
When I saw Mandy the first time, I was like, are they just gonna have another Eva Marie? Like, she's a very pretty girl, and like I hadn't seen her do anything at all in the ring, so I was like, oh god, this is gonna be really bad. I'm not gonna like go out of my way and be like, oh, she put on her fucking wrestling classic. She's like fucking sexy Terra Funk out there. But you know, she definitely held her own. She did good shit. Do have to take one point off. She did bloody Ember Moon. I think it was right on that first punch. I think she caught her in the teeths, if you will. So Ember Moon ends up going over again with the old hip destroying corkscrew stunner off the top rope. Which is worried, baby girl. I don't want you to blow out your ass. You end up like Hulk Hogan. Not the racist stuff. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know your fucking deal. But, you know, I don't want you to have the bad hips. Walking like Mick Foley and stuff. So I think that's something you save for them, those takeovers, those fucking big four when you go to the main roster. So, that's just my thoughts. I think, you know, a standard stunner for most matches would do just fine.
Yeah. And so we had fucking Toka and Razor, the authors of Pain, versus some emo jobbers. Oh yeah, this fucking shit. Like, and we just could not wait for them to get destroyed.
So
that
one
was...
thing that we said is the smaller of the two emo jobbers got military pressed from inside the ring to the outside of the ring and landed flat on his back. And the look on his face was, oh!
Yeah, so, that's what you get for too sweet when you're not in the club, you fucking asshole.
Or the NWO. Or the Click. You don't get to too sweet. God damn it. So yeah, kind of a quick little squashy match. Paul Ellering kind of cut a really weird mixed volume promo. The first chapter was the pain, and the second chapter was what the hell did he say?
What did he say? Like he pronounced it really weird.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact word, but he pronounced a word really weird.
Pain. It's all I need to know.
Again, I probably should have wrote.
Let's get out of here. If you're like, hello, Dean, he's like, shut up. Don't remind me.
Alright, so then we had Liv Morgan versus Asuka.
Oh. Like, Alright, let me run through the play-by-play of this match. So, you got Liv Morgan. She comes to the apron to do her little dancey-do, and she loses her ass cape. So, right away, things aren't going her fucking way. Kind of a sign of what's to come, if you will. So she comes out, does her dancey-doos. Asuka comes out. They have a stare down. Asuka. Just looking awesome. And, alright, so Liv and Asuka kind of trade a little bit of like shoving and kind of, you know, whatevers. So Liv hits a drop kick, to which Asuka goes, ah! And then Liv hits her with a couple, you know, forearm elbow strikes, maybe. I don't know. Do nothing. Asuka retaliates with her own, which drops her. Liv gets up, tries to go for some sort of punchity-doo-dah, and gets a sexy Rings of Saturn for the victory. So, yeah, Asuka won in 2 moves.
Half the match was just like letting Liv just tire herself out.
Yeah, this was a little bit of rope-a-dope, a little bit of sexy Rings of Saturn, so now I definitely enjoyed it. I don't know how Asuka, like, flaunting cleavage and, like, arching her butt helps with the Rings of Saturn, but I also don't know how flipping over reverses the pressure on a, you know, on a submission mold. So I don't know. I'm not a physicist, but I believe it. And I approve of it.
I believe.
Perry Saturn probably would have been a world champion if he had just done some of that. Got the mandibles together, arched his ass.
I can't believe you just fucking said that.
Probably would have been a multi-time world champion if he'd just done it like Asuka does.
Oh.
Just saying. I love you, Perry, but, you know. I hope you and Moppy are, you know, doing well together. So, I'm just saying. Just saying. But yeah, good match. Great match. Match of the year, most likely. Great finish. You could learn a lot from that main roster. Alright.
Alright, so final match of the NXT. Hideo Itami versus my boy Lince Dorado.
Yeah.
Nice little match.
So Lime Doritos comes out with his Metallica cover. And then
it pretty much was. That was the funny thing.
yeah, and
it was like I said, he was just asking the guy, it's like, oh, can you make my music sound like when the guitar goes. I really like that. Let's get a lot of that.
could I have Seek and Destroy, but like not the chorus or anything. I just want like You can destroy like just that part. No, I don't want to like the searching. No, I don't want You can destroy. And that's all I want. You know, it worked for T.J. Perkins. You know, you just take one part of a song and just like, that'll be my music. And then Hideo comes out with his Scorpion Mortal Kombat key and his, you know, Japanese Metallica. It's like, so cool, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, ding, 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 ding. I'm just like,
maybe that's what this match was for, like, who's the bigger Metallica fan?
yeah, so they fought for the glory of Metallica. Pretty solid little match here. Victor Hideo, he's got the story behind him.
Yeah.
GTS, he wins. Austin Aries comes out, assaults Hideo from behind. They do a little bit of rope-a-dope, if you will. And he chases Austin Aries off because he's a manly man. Apparently that's his gimmick. Such a man. Such a man. Such a man. Ding 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 ding. You know, just Japan that up a little bit. That could be Hideo's theme. Alright, so the one thing to kind of talk about is they kind of put out some tag teams. Obviously the obvious ones are there, your actual tag teams. But the one to talk about is Kenta will be teaming with the Golden Star Kota Ibushi. So Kota's be hanging around a little bit longer, I guess. Who knows how long? I don't know. Not a brain scientist. So, alright guys.
Moving right along to Lucha Underground. So, we're just gonna kind of, really wasn't a whole lot going on at the beginning, you know, we're just gonna kind of go into matches, you know, if there was like a really important promo, you know, we'll talk about them.
Yeah, start out with a recap of what's been going on, which is fair enough because you kind of need to know it.
Yeah. They've been going pretty story heavy with this upcoming war bullcrap going on. So, first off, we have Sinestro de la Muerte versus Prince Puma.
Yeah, pretty solid little match. Mil Muertes and Sexy Pants came out. They were kind of like scary and arousing in that order. That specific order.
Of each individual.
Yeah. Just kind of hanging around outside the ring, and then Puma's like, I want to give me some of one of them. And he jumps, and he's like, oh, damn it, I got Mil. So they kind of like scrappy-dooed a bit. And Katrina separated them. And they kind of went their own ways, and we got a little bit of Katrina promo later.
Puma obviously sending a message, hitting Sinestro with Mil's finisher. So, sending a clear message. Puma picks up the win. Later on, we would get Katrina, Sinestro, and Mil. No, they're in the back, you know. Sinestro has failed them for the last time. She breaks his neck, sucks out his life force, like she's fucking... Fuck, what's his name from Mortal Kombat?
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung, thank you. She's a sexy, sexy female Shang Tsung.
He could technically change his body, so he could also be a sexy.
Oh,
sexy
don't even.
Shang Tsung.
No. Don't you dare put that thought to people's heads that somehow fucking Katrina is in fact
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
The master of Chinese mystical arts. She's actually an old Chinese man. Alright.
And so now fucking Mil is even more
Well,
powered
no, we
up.
know she was born a girl, the amulet works. I mean, maybe the amulet's progressive. I don't know. She took the form of a girl, that's close enough. She identifies the amulet works. I don't know. I don't know fucking ancient Incan treasures. Sorry. I'll see if my local fucking college has any progressive classes on that shit. I don't know.
Alright, so next up we had Dario talking to Cortez Castro, you know, saying that he's sorry. He's going to find Cisco's real killer. Obviously, but kind of underhandedly gave him a match with Pentagon.
Dark.
And not a bad little match, you know. It was kind of short.
Ended with an arm being broken, so it's always fun. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say.
Yeah. So next up we had pretty good match between Drago, Phoenix, Aerostar, and Sexy Star.
Which apparently are called the Super Friends plus Sexy Star in an Atomicos match because it is like a chain reaction. I learned.
Versus the Dick Kick Mafia.
Or, as they're officially known, the Worldwide Underground.
But that name's stupid. Our name's better, so...
Yeah. Well, they stopped kicking people in the dick, so...
Well, for now. I mean...
Yeah, I guess Sexy was out there, kind of confounded them. Alright. So we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. There were two women in this match. At the end of the match, they were both injured. Do you see Sexy's face at the end of the match? With the big fucking swollen eye? And fucking whatever happened to Taya. I rewound it and watched like 5 times, but like the way the screen was kind of cropped, you couldn't really see what happened. I think what happened is she fell forward and her foot was kind of trapped between the ring, and I think she just kind of like hyperextended her ankle. But it sounded like it hurt.
Oh yeah. She definitely was not fooling. Like that definitely was.
Yeah, because
Cries of pain.
3 heels all break character to carry her to the back. You know, so she was definitely a hurting unit. Sexy, her eye was super swollen because Stryker kept talking about it. She's like, "Oh, he's pulling at the eye, she's pulling at the eye," and then like. Because, like, the way it's shot, it's not super close-ups like how WWE does. See, I didn't really notice it the entire match. But
Plus
like,
she's
at
wearing
the
the
very
mask, too, so...
Yeah, like, the guys were picking her up, and, like, half her face is just swollen. That was a little hard to watch, and it kind of... I'm not against intergender matches, but at something like that, that's got to be one of those ones where you're like... I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little too much there.
Especially, I don't know what. I think it was Taya that did that because that's when she started holding her eye. But I don't know exactly what it was that messed her up that bad. But you could definitely tell Sexy was hurting most of the match.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. Other than that, though, really solid match.
Yeah. Very entertaining.
Mundo, by far the biggest star they have in the company.
Yeah.
Like, I get Ray, Culture, SmackDown 2007, Eddie Guerrero, whatever. Dominic, chain ladder match, whatever. He doesn't get the pop that Mundo does.
Dude, they had fucking Mundo section.
Yeah.
Little signs.
Well, he gets his own chant of Johnny Urudo, Johnny Bad Guy, in case you guys don't know. So, he is the biggest star in Lucha right now. Like, I'd be surprised if they can hold on to him. Like, he is so over.
Yeah.
I mean, his stable there is some really talented people. What did you think of Jack Evans tagging where he starts doing flips and back
Just immediately, like, tags out after.
He just tired himself out. I dig it. I like the faction inside the faction of, like, seems like Jack Evans only really gets along with PJ Black.
Yeah.
And he seems jealous of Taya. So I can kind of dig that. Like, maybe that's the story they're trying to tell. Is, you know, Taya, she might be, fancying a little bit of the Morrison man, if you will, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Rudo. So maybe it's kind of making him a little bit jealous. Seems like PJ's more of like a kind of chill dude. He doesn't seem to mind so much. I'm gonna give PJ Black the biggest compliment, and I'm sure it's gonna piss off the internet. I've seen some Randy Savage in PJ Black recently, like the way he works in the ring. Just like his intensity, just the way he moves. I'm just like, this dude is good.
Yeah, definitely.
I think WWE, especially now they have a cruiserweight division, holy shit, they dropped the ball by not keeping him happy. I mean, maybe he's a dick. That's all I can say. Because holy shit, is he might be the best worker in Lucha. Like, I understand people that are like...
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
You know...
If not the best.
Puma... Or, like, Phoenix, who can do all the crazy shit. But when it comes down to, like, everything they do looks good. PJ is so fucking good.
Watched so far and away.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Like, Mundo is good at what he does, and he has the character that's so much bigger than really anybody. But PJ is just, as a worker, he might be my favorite guy to just watch. Like, that dude is good.
Yeah. Alright, so moving away, we got the main event. The grudge match between Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Chavo Guerrero, for who will fight Pentagon Jr. in another grudge match.
Good fucking match. I gotta give a big fucking to Chavo, because I know he doesn't get enough love. This is good shit from Chavo.
Yeah.
Dragon Azteca, I'm still not super sold on. He's a super athlete, and that's not like a jab at Rufus, obviously. You guys know my feelings on Rufus. But yeah, he can do some crazy shit. But Chavo was the glue in this match.
Oh, absolutely.
He put on a clinic. Like, if you're a young wrestler and you're like, hey, I really like Lucha Libre, how do I pick that shit up? Obviously watch Eddie, but throw in some Chavo, some Rey, some Ultimo Dragon, you know.
Very
some
solid
good
match.
shit. Yeah, this was... Chavo showed why he deserves the respect.
Yeah.
This was good shit from Chavo. I was actually watching, so from a little while ago, Chavo did the Ross report, and he was kind of talking about, he's like, yeah, like for my character, because he's a backstage guy, and he's kind of helping a lot of the luchadors who've never worked in American style.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, I like to come in and do some matches, and then have my character written out of the season, so he can kind of focus on the stuff in the back. And I was like, you know, if this is his only match this season, that's a good fucking showing. He put on a clinic in there. Match ended with some shenanigans.
And obviously, instead of just, which I like, you know, instead of,
My only issue with it is Pentagon is built so strongly, it really doesn't put a lot of faith behind
Dragon's Tech here.
Yeah, like I would have rather had, you know, Rey and Chavo kind of arguing, and then he hits like a roll up or something and pins Chavo, as opposed to Rey directly interfering and pretty much giving the win.
Well, I mean, and the whole thing between that is like he could have just easily have disqualified him.
Yeah.
But you know they were. But you know I kind of like the way they did that. You know, Chavo just being the ultimate super douchey heel that he is.
So what do you think of the chances that Dragon Azteca beats Pentagon Dark? I'm putting it somewhere between 0 and 0. Some square, circular number.
I don't know, man. I got a feeling Pentagon is gonna win, but you never know, man. You never know. They might.
I would be angry if Pentagon didn't win. It's like Pentagon right now. It would feel like if Lindsay Dorado beat like Braun Strowman. It's just like we're building this guy up as like the ultimate just fucking smasher of souls. And it's like, hi, I'm a young guy. Or no, the cruiserweight champion, TJ Perkins. If he beat Braun Strowman, just like straight out, he's just like, I will knee bar you, you big bastard.
But next week we are going to Black Lotus is sending her fucking
the
people
triad.
to do some shenanigans with Pentagon. So who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's the only way I could be okay with it. I will now raise it to 1%. I still think Pentagon goes for the arm break. Rey comes out and he's kind of like, you come in the ring, I'm going to break his arm. And then like lights go out, triads are in there, Pentagon kind of fucking bolts and, you know, he's in there. And then Black Lotus is like, Dragon Azteca, we have unfinished business, but first, you shithead, let's fight. And Pentagon Dark's like, Shiro Miedo pulls out some fucking bow staff. But then you don't really get it.
Alright, guys. That is what ends. Crazy. Alright.
Yeah,
That was it for the
live
showers.
wrestling.
So, I came up with an idea. And I think we are going to have a little competition between Raw and SmackDown just to see who really is going to be the better show at the end of the year. So by come Mania, we will know who the best show is.
So each week we'll pick between Raw and SmackDown who had the better show of the week. Keep track of it, nice solid numbers, so we can tell you at each of the half years, and maybe a little update here and there, which is the better show. You had kind of talked about a point system, but I think it's just a little
I think
so we're going to weigh it with the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Like if the pay-per-view was just so good, no matter what happens on Raw or SmackDown, it's going to be weighted so they get the advantage that week. It's the champion's advantage. It's fair, but you know my feelings so far. So if I had to put it for this week,
Head back to the notes.
SmackDown had a couple things I liked. Raw, I literally don't remember the end of it because
there
I
was
was that
so
bored.
much. I don't even.
The debate gets the point.
I feel like.
Alright, do you want to open it up for the other two shows?
Well, I really don't think it matters.
Look, if we're
But
going,
I feel like.
NXT would get my point if all four are on the table.
I mean, we could. Screw it. That's how we'll do it.
So in my opinion, NXT was the premier show to watch this week.
Alright, so.
Spoiler alert. There's probably going to be there a lot. Like, Lucha was very good.
Yeah.
SmackDown was okay. Raw,
Alright, so.
not so much.
Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Lucha. So.
Where are you putting your check mark?
You know what? I gotta give it to Lucha this week.
So we got 1-1 right now. And where would you put your X? What was the worst? Going Raw.
Raw.
Raw was painful. Holy shit. Especially after watching the debates to try to, like, catch up for do this stuff. That hurt. It physically hurt.
Yeah.
That was hard to stay awake, and I'm a night owl. I don't go to bed until like 3 in the morning.
Alright, so. I'll give it 1 point here. NXT gets 1 point. We are basically doing a fucking point system. So. And then Raw gets -2 points.
Yeah, we picked that as the worst of the week. It was
Even with the pay-per-view, like it was.
with the champion's advantage, it was still the weakest.
So again, guys, we are starting kind of half of the year, so right now, obviously, it's anybody's game.
Alright, before we end this, though, I have one last thing to kind of talk about. Table for 3 and Road Trip, I think is what it's called, right?
On the road? Or...
WWE's thing where they have the cameras in the car and they flip around. I think it's called WWE Road Trip, I think. Pretty damn sure. Alright, so yeah, I watched the 2 new ones. One is really good if you're kind of an old school fan and you kind of like to see behind the curtain a little bit. Kind of funny, good shit. The other was so horribly, god-awfully bad, it ruined the gimmick for me, and I don't even know if I'm going to go and watch other ones if they come up with more new ones. So I always like to take the shitty thing first and then have some fun with the thing I like at the end. So Road Trip on the road, whatever the fuck you called, Roadhouse. Alright, so the 2 road teams this week were Charlotte and Rick, who was telling the story of Rick kind of being a dick and like just kind of throwing a hissy fit, and then silent treatmenting his daughter, and they still showed that. So it's just them driving in silence because they can't play the radio because they don't want to pay for fucking music. So it's just. Yeah, so just imagine watching that. The other team was Maggle. A little technical issue. Alright, so we're back. So the other team was the Raw commentary pre-brand split of Maggle, Jables, goddamn Byron Saxton. So you hate their commentary on Raw. How much are you going to hate them just being stupid? Why? You know everybody hates the commentary teams. You're like, let's put them in the car. People will love that. It was not good. It was bad. Stronger word than bad. It was the opposite of Asuka. So let's go to the table for three giants of the ring with the Big Show, Kane, and Mark Henry. This was actually really good, and I kind of have to tell one of the Mark Henry stories, which is just kind of a little teaser. Not going to ruin it. A little bit of a spoiler, but it's not like, you know, they're telling like some great narrative in the episode. So one of the stories, just to kind of get you guys a taste into it, Mark Henry's telling the story, like he brings up like, well, what's the most embarrassing, dumb thing you've ever done in wrestling? Mark Henry took a plane to Springfield, Illinois, because all he knew was the show was in Springfield. The actual location of the show was Springfield, Massachusetts. So he ended up getting fined, and all the boys were like making fun of him on the phone and like pretending like he was going to get fired by Vince McMahon. But apparently it's a fairly common thing. A lot of the new guys, they don't know. And Kane told a story similar to it where they were going, I can't remember the name of the town, but they started off in Michigan and he had to go to a town in Illinois. But apparently this town is also in Michigan. So he ended up driving 2 miles in the wrong direction.
Oh, jeez.
Because his GPS was trying to take him to whatever the town name was in Michigan. So, you know, just good shit. Really fun, good old stories. A couple stories that have been told quite a bit, like especially Big Show stories.
Yeah.
But I've also seen Big Show do a lot of interviews, so maybe that's why I've already kind of heard a lot of his stories. But yeah, this is really good, really fun stuff. So yeah, I definitely recommend them. As far as podcasts, I don't think anything brand new came out this week. At least I didn't see anything. I could be wrong. I know it's like once a week, but I didn't think there was... At least I didn't see one that I follow the three major ones. I don't know. Maybe someday I'll follow Taz too, once I've got a little bit more free time or whatever. But with that, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up, and that's been This Week in Wrestling. I am Dave.
I'm Supercharged Funk.
Keep an eye out, because I'll be doing a review for Luke Cage. Alright, guys. Later. I'm aiming at the camera. Nobody wants to see that.